Basically, I just want this to be a very precise, only give you the information that is helpful video and not contribute to the plethora of redundant videos on YouTube telling you how to grow your hair by like drinking water and exercise, because I think we've all had enough of those. Hey y'all, this is gonna be a video on how I surpassed my growth plateau and grew my 4C hair finally beyond bra strap length to waist length and beyond. I say and beyond because my hair was like actually we was tussling with booty length, but then I trimmed it yesterday. This what's happening right now is just the twist that I had in my last video, which is where I talked about build up. Like those twists, I trimmed them because they weren't trimmed yet. I trimmed off the ends and then I took them out. Like that is what you're seeing right now. And then I just put in a little half ponytail. So nothing's happening, it's just blowout, freshly trimmed. But yeah, so my hair was like low-key booty length, but then I trimmed it and now I'm back up to hip length, like for some pieces. So we're at an ambiguous length right now. But basically, how I grew my 4C hair finally past waist length. So yeah, if you are interested in that, stay tuned and let's get started. First, let me briefly summarize my hair journey because that's important. So it's been, let's see, it's about 9 to 10 years. My start point is not determined very specifically. So I'm at year like 9 or 10 right now. And I just reached waist length last year. It was about 12 months ago. Exactly, last December. And so it took me 8 or 9 years to reach waist length. Why, you ask? That is way too long. Yes, we were lost for a very long time, but I finally seen the light, and so I'm here to share with you that light so it doesn't take you 5 years to find it on your own like it did me. You're welcome. Okay, let's get started. So my hair was growing on average, as you would expect, very well from twa stage to about armpits, bra strap-ish length. And then that is where I plateaued, like right at bra strap length. So it took about 2.5 to 3 years until I got to bra strap length, and I just stayed there for like 4 years. And yeah, I only just found my way back a year ago. I guess like a year and a half ago at this point. So what was the problem, you may ask? You are asking. That is the point of this video. So this was a twofold issue. There were 2 major problems that I needed to address before my hair was ready to start growing again. So the first part of this issue was actually breakage. No. All parts of this issue were breakage, but how it was happening, were in different sections. So the first part was in my protective styles. So for me, around like 4 years of being bra strap length, like 3-4 years, I found these 2 YouTubers. I don't know their names anymore. Something close to like the Cipriana twins. Forgive me if I'm doing this wrong, but they had the most hair I'd ever seen in my life. I was watching one of their videos. I was binging all of their videos. And in one of them, the girl, one sister had her hair up in a bun and the other sister had her, all the hair doing this down. And the girl with her hair in the bun, she was like, yeah, I can't wear my hair down like my sister because then it won't grow. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, so I always had to have my hair up off of my shoulders. And I was like, this is a thing? Oh my goodness. And so that was the first time I'd ever really realized that like protective styles have like 2 parts, especially for 4C hair, right? It's not just protecting the hair like from tangling and keeping the moisture inside by like, binding it in specific ways, like twisting it, braiding it, whatever. But like, in addition to that, you need the secondary layer of protection, which is like keeping the ends away from literally everything. Basically, the ends like should not be touching anything ever other than like silk or satin. So, you know, your pillowcase, whatever, your scarves, anything that's not your scarf or your silk satin pillowcase, like the end should not ever be in contact with. So yeah, around year 6 or 7, I realized this. And so all I did was like, I was already protective styling my hair this whole time, obviously. My hair was always in braids or twists, but they were just, you know, in like ponytails, or they were like loose. And my hair had just reached this length where like in braids or twists, it was like resting here a little bit. And so I was like, oh, well, my hair's protected. It should be not an issue where the braids are touching. But that was the first time it really was brought to my attention that like, maybe my hair needs more protecting than I'm doing for it. And so, yeah, I made a simple change. Like, I didn't need to do much. I was already protective styling. I just would like twist my twister braids into buns, or like put them in a ponytail, or like, I don't know, I started to wear like my satin scarf or beanies over, you know, the back again, just to make sure that the ends weren't touching anything. So that was step one, right? And just that alone wasn't enough to like make my hair finally like, you know, start just crazy lengthening again. Like, I don't even know if I saw much progress around that time, but I believed in what I was doing and where I was going. And I knew that that was good information that I needed to hang on to. So that was important. So I made that change. I didn't really see too much progress, but it was okay. You know, I kept it moving. Another year or two later is when I finally realized the last part of my breakage issue, and that had to do with manipulation. I can't remember how I figured this out, but I realized that my detangling tools were still breaking off my hair. Like, they were the last main culprit. So I used to use a Denman brush religiously since like year 2. A very long time, very attached to my Denman brush. And so I never really considered that to be a potential culprit, but it was. And it was very hard to realize this, because I love my Denman brush and the way it made detangling just a breeze, and I love the way it made my hair smooth, and just the curls be doing this, so it was amazing. But yeah, it turns out it was also the cause, you know, it was leading to, attributing to my breakage. And it's really unfortunate because, you know, I feel like this is something that stumps a lot of us, particularly 4C naturals, because, you know, our hair just is so fragile. And not to say, you know, all type 4 hair is fragile. And like I said, even my hair is mixed 4C. It's not completely every section exactly 4C. All type 4 hair is fragile, but 4C hair is the most fragile and so thin. Like, the strands, if you've ever looked at your hair strand in comparison to another like type of person's hair, it's so thin. Like, when you think about how many years like we just be brushing it, like, it makes sense it's snapping off. And the reason why this stumps so much of us is because you can't really see the breakage, right? When you got your brush going through, you end up with just like the big clump of hair in the brush, right? There's no way to tell like which of those are short strands, medium strands, or long strands with a bulb attached. Like, no, it's just a big, it's all whatever. There's no hope. So you have no idea that your brush is snapping off your ends unless you're like brushing over the sink or something, and you know, you looking down and you really observing each piece that comes off, and you get lucky and happen to have the short pieces like fall off cleanly onto the counter for you to notice them. Like, most of us, we detangling in the shower, we on the bed watching anime. Like, there's no time for observation afterwards. So, and then you can't figure it out from the brush. So obviously, like, you are not gonna know that your Denman brush or your Tangle Teezer or whatever is breaking off your hair, because there's no way to tell very well. So it makes sense that you may not have reached this conclusion on your own. And it makes sense why it took me 4 years to figure this out. So yes, I can't remember, unfortunately, how I came to this conclusion, like what really set off the light bulb to be like, hey, you might want to reevaluate your, you know, detangling method. But whatever, however this happened, I'm glad I did. Because I remember this was March 2020, because I had been back home. I was visiting back home from Japan. and I was in LA for like a month or whatever. And I was doing this experiment now. Like, this was around the time where I was like, okay, do I need to throw out the Demin? Like, what's happening? What's wrong? I need to reduce manipulation in my routine somehow. A month passed, and then I did my wash day, and I remember I did my little length check, and my hair was exactly the same length. Like, I cannot tell you, like, how confused I was. I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening? Like, I made all the changes, like, you know, braids are tucked away, like, nothing's ever touching anything, you know, we reduce manipulation by washing only once a month. Like, there's only one more option. Like, if my hair broke then it has to be the Denman. And so the next month I did everything the same, except I didn't even touch my Denman brush. I threw it out. That month I switched to a wide tooth comb for the first time. And at the end of that month, I did my length check, and my hair had grown for the first time in years. In years, I'm telling you, like, it was really that simple. 4 weeks. Like, half an inch of growth is enough for you to be able to tell. Like, especially if you've been looking at your hair sitting right above the nipple for 4 years, you know, you will know immediately, like, when you pull it down and it's longer. And that was that moment for me. Like, I was like, I did it. That was it. It's done. Like, finally, we've done it. So, yes, that was the moment I realized that detangling tools were holding me back. And, you know, I can't say it was just the tools. Like I said, this was a twofold issue. I had a couple of mistakes I needed to remedy, but that was a big one. Basically, my advice to you would be, if you are stuck at armpit brush strap length and, you know, you're doing the same old, our traditional, you know, I don't know, Denman brush, Tangle Teaser, Felicia Leatherwood, whatever you like to use, paddle brush, you got a brush in there somewhere, yeah, consider promptly removing that, because I'm telling you, I mean, if you're 4C and this is you, like, sis, it's the brush. I promise you, it's the brush. You know, a wide tooth comb, I'd say, is the limit for how you want to do that detangling. And outside, and keep it to once, like, within your wash day, like, only try to do the detangling in your routine, like, only once. Like, don't detangle with the comb in your pre-poo, if that's when you like to do it, and then do it again when you deep condition, and then do it again when you style. Like, that's, like, even if you're using a comb, you're still going to break off as much as if you were still using Denman. Like, there's no point in trying to, you know, soften your detangling method if you're just going to do it too frequently and cause the same result. So, yeah, my advice to you is pick one step in your routine where you use the detangling tool, and then for all the other steps, you got to figure out how to get it done without that, because it's just too much. Your ends will break off. So if that requires restructuring of your routine, then so be it. But yeah, once. And so, yeah, now that's why I wash my hair once a month now, and I no longer use any tools other than the wide tooth comb. Like, I don't use my Denman anymore. And, you know, as much as I miss how nice it makes my hair smooth, I like this a lot more. I don't miss it that bad. So, you know, it's worth it, honestly, to me. If this is one of your goals, to have long 4C hair, like, the good news is, like, it can be fixed, and you are so close. So I'm rooting for you. Just to summarize, if you are 4C natural like me, and you have reached a growth plateau, your growth has stagnated, particularly around bra strap length or armpit length, chances are you need to reduce manipulation in your hair care routine. And I know it like sucks to hear, because I know in order for you to get your 4C hair to bra strap length, I know you've been doing the most, sis. It takes so much to get even that far, and I commend you, because that means you're at least doing the basics right? It seems like your moisture is probably right. You got products that work for you, like your protective styling, whatever. Like, you've got the basics down, which is excellent. But unfortunately for 4C naturals, like, the hair, for some reason, like, above bra strap length and after bra strap length are like night and day in like what they need. Like, it just becomes super fast. You thought it was fastidious before? Like, please, once you get to bra strap length, we're like, we are level 10 for need, like, and greed. And so if you don't adapt at that level, like, you just gonna be stuck there forever, sis. So yeah, just know that the reason you're still stuck is because your hair care routine requires some adaptation that you have not yet enforced yet. And that adaptation is reducing manipulation in your routine as much as possible. So the ways that I recommend are, one, in your protective styles, look at your protective styling. Are you just doing primary protective styles where you're twisting and braiding or, you know, whatever? Or are you doing secondary protective styles where you take those twists and braids and you style them in a way that they don't touch your shoulders or any sort of material or literally anything beside air or satin and silk? Like, that secondary layer is imperative. And if you're already doing that, then you want to move on to manipulation during your wash day. Step number 1 is wash your hair less frequently if you are still washing your hair like once a week or once every 2 weeks. And I know it sucks to hear, like, I've been there before. I've washed my hair in all the different levels in these 9 years. I've had a long time to experiment. So I used to wash my hair once a week when I was twad to like armpit length. I was doing the most. And then once every 2 weeks. And then once every 3 weeks. And now I'm once a month. So like, it can be done. It just takes some, you know, rewiring of your priorities and or, you know, daily activities, whatever, your life. But yeah, I think that's really, really, really helpful. So consider trying to find a way to make that work for you, because the goal is to, as I keep saying, reduce manipulation as much as possible. And with our hair, every time we do it, like, just due to the nature of like the structure of our hair, doing the least with it is still doing a ton. Like, one wash day just to detangle your hair is so much, like, so much tensile stress on your hair, on each tiny little hair strand. And it just, you know, the raking and the amount, even if you were doing the minimal amount to get the big knots out of your hair, that's still so much friction on our hair. So at some point, like, the only thing you can do is reduce the number of times that you go in and touch your hair physically. So 4C hair, if you go and wash it every week, you will not reach those lengths that you are aspiring to. Like, our hair literally is just too thin. It's just too, the strands are not strong enough for that. And as it gets longer, like, it gets weaker. So it definitely, if you're around that armpit length, bra strap length, and you've plateaued, it's probably because you need to be, like, you need to tone down the manipulation even more. Like, I know to get there, I'm sure you had to already be on a low manipulation level, because that's just how it is. But like, when you hit that plateau at armpit bra strap length, like, your hair is telling you, like, we are done, like, with this, your current manipulation routine. Like, it is too much and you need to adapt if you want, you know, to retain any more length. So I know we all have our preferences and different scalp conditions. I'm not a person whose scalp is fine, you know, not being washed for a month, but I do it anyways because it's best for my hair. Yeah, my scalp gets itchy and it, like, is not, like, it was happy being washed once a week. Like, my scalp likes that, but my hair can't handle all that manipulation. So, you know, honestly, I am still in the process of trying to find a way to keep my scalp, like, happy for a month, not being washed. But, like, I know that there is a way to kind of remedy that, like, to make that better. Versus, like, if I was choosing to wash my hair every week, you know, to prioritize my scalp not getting flaky or itchy, then there's nothing I can do to make my hair long in that process. So if your priority or if one of your goals is length, then, like, you're gonna have to give up your scalp being comfortable if your scalp is like mine, you know, for the time being, while you search for solutions to that. So just know, yeah, it's not perfect. I don't do that because I got the magical scalp that doesn't itch and get dry. Like, please. It is a process. So yeah, don't let that deter you. But anyways, yeah, I recommend reducing the amount of times you wash your hair as the best way to reduce manipulation in your routine. But as I learned from my experiment where I did this and then went in with the Denman afterward after a month and then didn't like have any length retention, for a lot of us 4C naturals alone, that is not enough. And you need to actually switch up your detangling method as well. So recommendation, get rid of your detangling tools, the detangle teaser, the Denman, the Felicia Leatherwood, all their cousins. Like, they don't belong on your bra strap length 4C hair because at this point it's too fragile. It's not going to make it. So either finger detangle or use a wide tooth comb or use a combination of the two. But yeah, I also recommend not using the wide tooth comb more than one place in your routine, like more than one step. So I only go in with the comb when I've got deep conditioner in it and it's under running water. I don't be combing at any other step in my routine. And then when I get out of the shower and I need to actually style it, like, I only use my fingers. And I'm not even detangling at that point. Like, finger detangling still causes damage too. Like, it's just, you know, a lot slower or less than a comb or a tool. But like, I'm not even detangling at that point. I detangle literally once. And then for every other step, like, if there's, you know, all I do is I keep my best to keep it stretched. And then I just, whatever tangles formed between the comb session and the styling session, like, they just gonna have to coexist because I'm not going in to cause any more breakage. We're done with the breakage step. That was done in the shower. Now we're just binding. So basically my hair gets touched with a tool once a month, and that is the amount of manipulation it can handle at this length to continue to thrive. So of course, when my hair was short, like, yeah, I washed it every single week and I detangled it every single week. Twice. Like, I detangle it, like, I used to do pre-poos back then, so I would detangle, like, before I got in the shower to put in a twist, and then I'd wash it and do everything, and then I'd get out and style it, and then detangle again with, like, a brush. But my hair was short. It was new. It was less damaged. It was less fragile, right? Because it's only, like, 6 inches long. It could handle all of that. But then at around year 2, you know, when it started reaching armpit length, bra strap length, it became too fragile to be able to handle all of that manipulation. Like, that's way too much manipulation for our hair. Like, I mean, our type of hair, 4C, it's just too fine. It's so fine. It will break off. This is the reality, and I wish, you know, I had someone to tell me that because I just thought a hair routine, like, was made once and that was it, and then your hair just did its thing. But that's not how it works. So yeah, I didn't, you know, take into account the change in strength, you know, durability of our hair. The hair up here is a lot healthier and stronger than the hair down here. So by the time your hair is this long, like, you gotta, chances are high you're gonna need to change something up. Yeah, try to change your routine around so that you can detangle only at one step in your routine, and then figure out how to do the rest without needing any tools or any, you know, deep detangling. So yes, and if you can manage to do all 3 of those things, you will flourish. You will win, sis. I know it. Like, and I'm so excited for you because if I had found this video 4 years ago when I was stuck at bra strap length, I could have been early 20s Imani with waist length, hip length hair, just living her best life. So, but alas, life is not perfect. And, you know, we all get to our destinations at our own pace. So don't sweat it, but just know that this is probably the information you needed to, you know, get you back up on your length retention journey. And if it's not for some reason, like, if you try all 3 of these tips for like 2 months and you are still not retaining length, that means that something else is wrong and likely in the, like, fundamental steps of your routine. Like, instead of breakage, you probably got like a moisture issue or something else. And, you know, that's possible. It's just, I feel like for most of you, that's not the case. Because if you have 4C hair and you already made it to bra strap length, like, chances are you already kind of got that nailed. So that's why I didn't talk about that other stuff. Just this very specific, like, very targeted, like, it's a very targeted audience. And so if you don't fall into this, like, don't feel bad. It's just, I feel like the majority of you will. So yeah, if you know, this didn't work for you and you're like, oh my goodness, please, I think I have a moisture issue, like, can you tell me what's up? Like, I will do my best to cover the other reasons why you may have reached a growth plateau in another video. But yeah, I just didn't feel like it was necessary in this one. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. This video was the structure was so out of control. I'm sorry. I hope you're able to follow along. If not, I could try again one of these days. But yeah, all of the important information that you need was in this 20 minutes. So hopefully you found something that was helpful to you, that you can apply to your own life and reach your hair goals as soon as possible, because it is so fun out here, sis. It's so fun. I'm living my best life. Do you see? I know y'all see. I ain't gotta ask. Like, please, my dreams have come true. So yeah, I wish the best for all of you. I want us all to thrive, and I want us all to be here. Like, if that's what you've been wanting, you know, like me since you were a child. We're so close. You can have this. We can all thrive together. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Leave your questions below. Let me know if this, you know, was for you. If you're the person that needed this video, because that would just make my life, please. And hopefully in the future, leave your like testimonies, your success stories down below. I'm so excited to read them. So yeah, I will see y'all in the next video. Matane. Bye.